Yay!
I'm so excited to be here with you and to be with all of you. This is our first ever live, at least on YouTube, that I've ever did. And I think you too, Bobbi, right? To be with all of you. This is our first ever. I'm echoing. I better turn that thing off. Okay. Hi. So we are figuring this out. I think it's all going to go really smoothly. Mercury is no longer in retrograde, although we are still in the shadow. So if there are little snafus, we'll deal with them. But most of all, we're here because we really want to help. And I know Bobbi has posted on her socials and I've posted on mine that there is a link you can use. Obviously you're watching the show now, but if you want to come on and get some one-on-one help from us with anything you're struggling with, and we're going to talk a little bit in a minute about some of the struggles, I want you to use that link. It's on my Instagram stories. It's on Facebook stories. I know it's in Bobbi's stories on Instagram and everywhere else. And you can see our little handles for Instagram, but really for most socials, you'll be able to find us with those. So make sure to use the link and come into the waiting room, and we're going to get to as many of you as we can as our little experiment in creating shelter for you. So let's talk about that for a minute, Bobbi. You know what, like I could wax philosophical on forever about why we're doing this, but you know, this came to us, right? Because we were talking about our own struggles, but also both of us work in the healing arts and work with clients and work with communities, and we're seeing it and feeling it that from everyone, right? So what is it that's actually happening right now that we're all feeling?
Well, yeah, so it's really cool because I was, tuning in this last hour and we're talking about, and I'm experiencing this in sessions and with people, why we're calling this the shelter from the spiritual storm is because it's seen and noticed and it's felt as pressure, that like literal energetic pressure, that everything needs to be spiritualized. Our emotions, our pain, our experiences, our trauma, like that there's a new way of, or there's been this adapting like way of speaking that you can't just be human and be in pain. And so there's this kind of morphing like unconsciously into like inauthentic presence and communication because nobody's really just speaking.
So are you saying that with all of the kind of positive thought and personal empowerment world and spiritual thought and all the spiritual teachers out there, whatever your, pick your poison, like whatever your teachers are, your religious institution or your organization. I know a lot of the spiritual work that people are doing have nothing to do with religious organizations, but one of the issues is that there's this pressure that we're all under to be, happy and everything's peaceful and don't think negative thoughts. And there's kind of this veneer that's being placed over everything, that everything is beautiful, which makes it so hard for us to be with our pain. And I think that's causing some of the pain. But what I also, and for those of you, I think you guys know who we are. I forgot to introduce us. I'm Dr. Laura Berman. I'm a love, relationship, sex therapist. Really, I'm just here on the planet to help people love and be loved better. I write books. I do my podcast, The Language of Love. I do television stuff, but mostly that's honestly what I'm all about. And Bobbi, you can introduce yourself, but I will say that she's a brilliant, clairvoyant, spirit taught healer and medium. I know you are, but how would you add to that?
It's always an interesting description, right? Medical, intuitive, clairvoyant healer, spirit taught. There's so many different things that come into play. It's like I commune with spirit and the body of the client, the higher self, the subconscious, in order to bring together all the pieces that are necessary on each individual journey, whether it's healing the physical body or finding your way back to yourself, which is the jump off of, or the continuation of what we were saying is, wherever you are on your path,
Yeah.
spirit is here to guide and help. And your body has so much information, that we would never know, because the body has such a strong voice. So anyway, so I do private sessions. I've done group sessions.
And she's going to tune into you guys. I get super intuitive and I see images and movies and things about your life, but she goes significantly deeper and wider than I do. So when you get on the love seat, as I like to call it, rather than the hot seat with us, we're going to talk about whatever you're dealing with, but she's going to be tuning into your energetic field, right? Like she's told me stuff about myself that I've never told anyone. But she will. So I'm not saying she's going to out those things here on this live show. Don't worry about that. But that she will when we're in private, she does that. But she will tune in to what will be of the greatest service to you. And we'll both be tag teaming to support you. But, one of the things that I also, as people are kind, like I said, come into our green room, as we call it, into the waiting room, so you can get in the queue, because we're going to get to as many people as we can during the time that we're here. I do. So it's on all of our socials. In the stories, you will find the link to come on into the waiting room. I know we have a few people here already, but I did want to just highlight, and then I want you to really energetically open the circle for us before we bring anyone in, Bobbi. But one of the things that I talk a lot about, and it was really the purpose of me writing that ebook, You're Not Crazy, You're Just Ascending, is one of the things that I think is causing the spiritual storm right now, as we call it, is that we are all being called on in all of our little ways in all of our lives to kind of wake up to a new reality. And the Earth's frequency has drastically increased. The energetic frequency, it's fascinating. You can actually see it on the NASA website, the Schumann resonance of the Earth, which is the electromagnetic pulse of the Earth, has actually drastically increased, really starting, ironically, since the beginning of the pandemic. And what happens is that the Earth never matches our frequency. The Earth holds its own frequency no matter what. We match the Earth's frequency always, because we're on it. And she's in charge in that way. So as the Earth's frequency has risen, we've all had, our energy has had, our energetic frequency of our bodies has had to rise to match it, because we automatically entrain to the Earth. And as your frequency rises, and this is what we talk about a lot in quantum love, you're shedding density, you're shedding heaviness, because you're getting lighter energetically. And as you shed those densities, all your shit's going to come up. Right? So as our frequency rises, all those things that we have to address, that we have to heal, that we have to let go, are coming up to be cleared. And it makes you feel like you're insane, because memories will start popping up. All of a sudden you have an intolerance to certain kinds of people or energies or foods, or you used to be a drinker and now you can't drink, or suddenly you can't sleep. Like there are all these physical symptoms or all these emotional symptoms, and it really does feel chaotic. So I just wanted to mention that, because I think that's, and get your take on this, Bobbi, because I think that's a big part of the storm we're in, and the shelter that we really require is how to navigate that.
Yeah. So my perspective, or my information, since I've communed with the earth, and I did a post about it, the necrotic earth, is that there is that. And then there's also that she is dying because we're not caring for her.
Yeah.
We're not in gratitude. We're not showing reverence. Her, trees, the earth, the ocean, each other, all these things. Because as things get more and more chaotic, and this goes into the breathing we're going to do, it's just getting, which is why we created this. It's getting more and more intense. And I'd like to also say I see everything in pictures. So I do my best to describe pictures as I'm talking, just so you know. And so that is part of it. So what you're saying, yes. And then there's also the piece of where we also can't really rush that process of what you can call it ascension, you can call it whatever you want, but it's all, we all agree to be here right now in a body at this specific time. And so we know we can handle it. We know that we have a plan in place to handle it. We have our guides, we have God, non-denominational, we have everybody here, loved ones on the other side. And so it's not something that we can't handle, which is, why I always speak about faith, right? That unwavering knowing that we're divinely guided. Nothing's happening to us right now that wasn't planned.
Yeah.
So know that it's all overseen, and that again, what I see a lot in my work, and I'm sure you do too, is the people are trying, it's like, like people who, get trampled or something in a crowd, is like, that's energetically what's happening, is that there's some notion that if you push harder, you can somehow get to this finish line. And this beautiful vision is like, once you get to wherever you're going, like the gate's still going to be closed. So you can, go shopping at Ross or something or whatever, otherwise you're just going to be, it's kind of funny. I love Spirit uses a lot of analogies, but so in all of that, Laura, is what's coming through is that it's almost like accidental not being authentic, because the further and further we get away from self, while we're trying to do all this,
we're trying to survive
or get somewhere where it's not time to get, or just in this, leaving the space of calm and faith and then not speaking from an authentic place. Like you and I, when we're on the phone or whatever, we bawl our eyes out in our humanity. We share things that it's so wonderful to get to do that, because it's so real, right? We're human, and that's the plan.
Yeah. And none of us are expected to be perfect, but there is this insta expectation now to look a certain way, to seek fame, to try to achieve, or as I like to call it, to lean into the fix, manage, and control realm, right? Like trying to make shit happen, which is really something that I've been conditioned to do since a very early age. It's something that I've worked really hard and continue to work hard on releasing, fix, manage, and control, FMC mode, as I call it, and step more into quantum mode, where you're really surrendered and trusting. But the harder things get for you physically or emotionally or in your environment, and it will happen, these are the times that there's a lot of chaos and upheaval, it's more important than ever to stay in the flow. And so that's one of the things that I think we really want to support you in. But like we said, whatever is coming up for you, because just know that whatever you're asking, even if it seems like really specific to you, I promise it's not. And there are millions of other people, many of them here watching and listening, who share your same issue, maybe in a different flavor or color, but the same issue, and are getting the help right along with you. So I know we have some people in the waiting room here. Keep joining the waiting room. We're going to get through these as quickly as we can, with as much, care as we can. But let's let you kind of open our energetic circle before we do that.
Mm-hmm. So I ask that everyone, hopefully you're in a place that you can do this. Do the best that you can, but sit up nice and straight, chest out, shoulders back, and looking up. And we're going to breathe in for 7. Pull in light through the top of your head, counting in for 7. Hold it for 1. Exhale and let yourself just relax, because as Laura said, and Spirit always likes everyone to know, is they brought everyone here today who needs to be here today, even if you thought it was your idea. And which is really fun and beautiful. So whether you're here with us in the love seat, as Laura said, just try to just hear with openness, because you will hear what you need to hear. And while you're all listening, we call in all the guides and the loved ones on the other side, and we're all circled and we're all here together. It's just really beautiful. Even though we're in many different places, everyone's sort of been brought together in this beautiful arrangement. We wrap you in light and know that all your needs are being met. And by being here also, they want me to say that you've given us permission to go and work with each of you, your energy, doing a little reset and a calming. If that's not okay with you, you may just say not okay in the, comments or something, but I think it's okay. It seems like.
And we'll ask you when we bring you on the love seat, we'll have, I think it would be helpful to just say, is it okay to go
Well,
into
we're already working with people.
Oh, you
right
are?
now.
Yeah. I'm not, but Bobbi is, just so you know.
No, we as in spirit are it's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. It's like everyone is like this beautiful individual light. So we're already working with everyone, which is why it's okay. Everything's good. We're all good. We're all perfect already.
Amen.
And thank you. Thank you for being here.
Yes. And if you're here, whether you come on the love seat or not, you're already being healed, right? They're coming in, they're calling in whoever's meant to be here.
Just receive. Yeah. Hey.
All right, you ready? So Sam, our producer, who also produces my podcast, is in the background here. She's going to be bringing you guys up on our love seat, which is virtual, obviously, but you're going to join us on the stage here, and we're going to dive in. So bring on the first. Yay.
Hi, Molly.
Good morning. Tell us your name.
Hey, my name's Tracy.
Tracy.
Hey, Tracy.
Good
Hi.
to see you.
I'm in Iowa City, Iowa.
Yay. From Iowa.
Where are you all?
California.
We're in California, but Bobbi and I are both from the Midwest. So
okay.
We get it. So tell us what's been going on. Bobbi's probably already reading your field and doing the cookie stuff.
Yeah, where do I
tell
start?
us what's going on.
Mental health wise, I have major depressive disorder, anxiety, bipolar disorder. Managed pretty well with meds, I'll keep up with appointments. I don't see counseling right now. I don't trust myself to make the appointments because I'm in that mode where I need motivation to get going in the day. Not to mention, my sleep sucks. I lay down at night and my mind won't stop. So I try meditation. I try, putting on the sounds. What is it? The EDM, whatever. Try to focus on. I count sheep, for crying out loud. I try everything. Nice music. Stuff that usually makes me sleepy. I don't know. My mind just races and I can't get it to stop.
Yeah. And that makes everything harder when you can't sleep, because then your system goes into overload.
I'm already low energy, and it's like, what do you do? I even want to take a nap and I can't. And I didn't, this has been going on probably for about a month now. But
so it's kind of new. I'm guessing you've had this diagnosis for a while, and you've been on meds for a while.
The insomnia is not new necessarily, but the fact that I can't, I used to fall asleep, but I would only stay asleep like an hour and wake up, fall asleep an hour, wake up.
Yeah.
But now I can't even get to sleep. And that part's new.
Yeah.
I have meds to make me sleepy, but then I'm hungover the next day. So, damned if I do, damned if I don't. So I don't know. Right at this point, I'm taking meds because it was day 4, and I'm like, I'm just gonna take the drugs.
Just to
But
get some sleep. I get that.
yeah. I mean, I have to. I know that, but you know, the weather's beautiful here. I mean, it's 80 degrees today, sun's out. I'm like, wow, I really want to do something, but I started to get up, take that step, and then I have no energy. I'm dead.
Mhm.
Well, those
So
are, can I, if you,
Yeah, go ahead, Bobby. Jump in.
so, I mean, there's a lot of things, right?
yeah,
Spirit comes around a lot. First, you know, it might be obvious or maybe not, but like you talk from right here, like you just from this little space. It's really interesting. You speak from here, and it like, so there's like you're disconnected, like you're completely
really,
disconnected. Yeah,
I
it's
feel
okay.
that way.
It's okay with you. We're gonna try to, it's hard. We're actually, we need you to focus for in a second, but because we've been trying to like poke at this block here and
Yeah.
but to get the energy running all the way through, because really what's happening is, if you can imagine, if you're kind of trapped right in here,
Oh God, yeah,
all the energy is like in here, like you're,
yeah. I believe that.
like it's almost like you have two different energies.
Even physical pressure.
It's really intense in your head. I have to say really quick that EDM, or that's not for you specifically. This isn't for everybody, but we're here with you, so we're telling you specifically. That's for you. That's not helpful.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually, it's too much. It's almost like overload. So chill, but you don't breathe enough. Like you exhaust everything, and then you're not replenishing. There's some really, like, we say simple, not, you know, but breathing intentionally and imagining this, you know, pulling the light all the way through. And can you take a nice deep breath?
Mm.
I'm
Just
doing it with you.
sit back and relax for a minute. Can you do that? Open up your chest.
It's hard. I'm really tense.
Well, try it anyway. Try.
Not just because of
She's
this.
gonna help you.
Yeah.
She's gonna energetically help you, but see if you can kind of sit back and open your
And
shoulders a little bit.
and just receive, okay? Just receive. Like, we hear you, we see you, you're everything. We have all this information. Also, like, who's the addict around you?
Mhm. Who's the what?
You have an addict around you? Can you hear?
Myself.
Yeah.
Former, but yeah, once an addict, always an addict.
Yeah.
Any
So,
other addicts around you?
no, it's her.
Oh, it's her.
You know,
Okay.
so because something we need to do next. So I need you to just keep breathing, because you close up, and that's not helping you, like literally. So we're gonna do this together. I knew it. They made me do this breathing before I came on Spirit, so we're all gonna do it in a minute, because there's so much shame in your space. There's so much neglect. I mean,
how do you know that? How do you see that right now? I didn't even tell you about it.
So, well, they want you to know you're seen. Okay, you're seen, and we got you, and that's it. But this is the work for you. Is that
You are accepted and you are loved.
you're loved,
Exactly as you are.
but you're caved in on yourself. You're completely caved in, and you don't think that you have the right to breathe even. But that's not the truth. So these are the simple, not simple, but these are the changes that they don't cost anything. They don't cost anything. Is to get your shoulders back and get your chin up and know that you are here. You deserve to be here. You're as good as everybody else. You're as good as we're all perfect with all of our shit.
If only I can believe that.
Well, but you have to, you don't have to do anything. But this is going to take kind of agreeing to leave this space that you're in? Because you're saying, I want help, but then you're also saying, no, thank you.
Yeah, what I want to say is that you're here for a reason. There is a part of you, even if so much of you is in judgment of yourself and feels unentitled to the love that you so deserve, right? Because of all the traumas and all the things that have been done to you that then transmuted to actions you took that you regret and feel guilty about. All of that is rooted in the trauma that happened to you. It was a trauma response. But we aren't going to, in this time, convince you necessarily to change the way you view yourself. But what we can say is that you are here because even though there's that whole other part of you, there is the eternal, unmarred, perfect, beautiful soul part of you who wants the help, who knows you deserve it, right? And so because you are here and because you came on, are you willing to try?
Unlike me.
Are you willing to
I'm
try
very
to
shy. I would never get on camera for anybody, you know.
Well, here you are.
You're doing it. And by the way, I can tell you right now that there are thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of people watching and listening to this who are either recovering addicts, recovered addicts, or other trauma survivors who have done so much that they feel ashamed of and guilty about, and who are not allowing themselves to heal and to live because they don't feel like they deserve it. And you are representing every single one of them right now. Yeah. You are giving them a tremendous gift because we are all connected. And so even if you're not willing to receive this for yourself, are you willing to receive it for everyone who's in your shoes?
I love to help people.
Okay, so do it. What does she do, Bobbi?
Well, I'm like, sorry.
As I talk.
Because as you were saying that, so when you hear that, right, because everything's energy. So words are human, right? Yeah. But there's a vibration and resonance. So around you, which before you can move forward into what Laura just said about the people in the now and moving forward and helping them, there's this old resonance of all the addicts who counted on you in some way. It was like you were their spirit is saying, your guys are saying that you were like, I don't know if head honcho or something like that. And there were a lot of people that were relying on you and you feel like you failed them or something like that. Yeah. And so we have to, we don't have to. If you're ready, it's important to understand that you're ready. They want you to know, your higher self wants you to know you are ready to move from this place. This is a human decision you have to make for yourself. And anything you decide is fine. But before you can move from this place into the life that's waiting for you, we need to disconnect all the addicts that are still attached to you. That's why I said, who's the addict? Because you're literally, it's interesting because your hair, the way your hair is kind of, is like
it's wild.
It's connected to all the chords she's saying.
But there's a whole bunch of chords, and it's really important because there's still sort of, not in a mean way. This isn't about dark.
No, not at all.
But sometimes it is. But in this case, it's not darkness. It's
sorry, not sorry.
Just dependence. So there's a lot of lower vibrational dependence on you. Yeah. Because addiction is a low vibration.
Yeah, sure.
So as you're being pulled, as Laura opened this conversation, the show with, is like, as you're being pulled, which you are, because you're just like the rest of us, as you're being pulled into the new vibration, you're feeling this more and more intensely. This is spirit and your soul trying to rattle you out of what was.
That's what it's down to. I mean,
but isn't this good news? Because if you just say, okay, yes, I'm ready to move forward and totally own that I'm so strong to have made it through all the stuff I've made it through. And my heart is so big that I have helped so many people, even in my addiction.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Wow.
true.
Even in my own addiction, I still was all about supporting other people. That's not the case for a lot of people.
Yeah, no, it is not.
It's phenomenal. So get your shoulders back and your chest out and be like, yeah, I have a lot to teach. I have a lot to show up for.
So actively, my brother's addict. I mean, he's a severe alcoholic, and you know, he shows up to my place now and then, and I get, I get so mad because I'm to the point where it's tough love. I've been there, and I know sometimes it takes you know what, I'm sick of this. You got to help yourself, dude. Because I've tried to help you, and you can't. I can't do it for you.
Well,
we've been to treatment so many times.
Yeah, right now, I mean, we're going to move him out of your space because now we want to. Well, they're doing this on purpose because you won't just take for yourself. You want to share this with your brother. You want to share this with, because you're so uncomfortable just being like.
Just receiving.
So thank you for sharing all that. We're not disregarding it, but we're also pushing it out of your space. Because you don't get to get away. You're not.
So here's the question. Are you willing in this moment, Shannon, are you willing to receive just for now? You don't have to permanently receive. You don't have to become she who or they who receives, but are you willing to receive and engage in some healing right now?
Tracy.
Yes.
Tracy, sorry. I didn't mean to call you Shannon. Tracy. Yes. Okay. So then shoulders back.
Sit back. You're not sharing this with anybody, okay? No. This is all for you. Don't bring in because we're just going to push it right back out. Got news for you. So we're just wrapping you up, and this is hard for you. Like, yes, you deserve to have pride. Yes, you deserve to have pride. That's all you keep repeating this stuff about no pride. I can't, how can I be proud? Like, I hear everything in your subconscious. It's like, yes, you do. Yes, you do. So shoulders back, eyes closed, and we're going to work on your heart and we're going to work on your throat. And I just need you to breathe. And is it okay? If it's not, it's okay. But is it okay to detach all the like amoebas, sort of? Because that's going to give them all their power as well. And we can send them light and love and they go on their way. The addicts that are around you. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. In for 7. Your job is to just breathe, count to 7 on your inhale, then count to 7 on your exhale and repeat. You just keep breathing. Did you ever overdose?
Oh God, yes.
Okay.
5 times.
Yeah. Okay. You see, I was doing CPR there. Okay. So keep breathing because you're alive. People don't. I promise you. I've worked with people on the other side while they're crossing, before they come, like everything. And you would not still be here if you were not supposed to be here.
Sure,
It's literally a truth.
And I constantly question that. Why am I here?
Okay, well, Yes, but you're questioning it from a place of smallness instead of like, why am I here? See how my chest is open? I'm in your body here for a moment. Like, see, you have to practice doing this, right? You're going to do it off camera, obviously, because I think I make you pass out. But but open up. Why? Hey guys. Hey, all the people who didn't make it, all the friends who
Yeah,
didn't make it,
God,
all the addicts who didn't make it, everyone who
there's
didn't
so
make it.
many.
Okay, how do I honor you? How do I honor you? How do I honor this incarnation? How do I honor my soul? Because it's your soul that guided. Your soul is not giving up. This is why they said we're doing CPR again. Here we are again, they say. Here we are again doing CPR. You're not going anywhere. But you have to choose life.
Yeah. That's what I'm feeling, is that that you aren't living, right? Like there's a
I'm not.
part of
I'm
you that isn't choosing to live, even though you're alive,
Mm,
out of guilt, out of shame, out of, whatever stories you have that
that's
somehow you
it.
don't deserve to live.
That's it.
And
I
I,
have so many people around me that I love so much, and that they are the reason I'm still here. I mean, honestly, it's not
well,
me.
they're the reason maybe you have decided not to kill yourself, but
Yeah.
they are not the reason that you're still here.
I
You see the difference, right?
Yeah.
The big reason you're still here is much bigger than those people whose hearts you don't want to break, and the reason that you're not doing something to take yourself out, which I'm very grateful for, because we need your light, right? And you have lived this long, and you have survived what you have because your specific light is needed.
Yes. And you promise, you on a soul level, I promise this is the truth. You chose all of this. If you watch some of my videos, my stories, like I was homeless, suicidal, all these things, right?
Yeah.
By the grace of God, I've not been an addict, but I've, you know, like that's what changed the trajectory of my whole life, is to be broken and to fully understand that like your soul is so badass that your soul has so much faith in you, so much faith in your humanity to go through this and get to the other side of this, which you can do. You have lived through all of this. There is a reason. You don't need to know exactly what it is in this very moment, but you're such a person of service. Your heart is so huge.
I mean, yeah.
So
I was in the healthcare industry.
yeah,
I was a nurse and a paramedic. I mean, it's like, is it on my forehead?
No,
oh yeah, to me it is. So yes, I mean, it's your heart's like huge. And so, but that's who you are. Your essence is that. You see, no matter what you did, no matter how many drugs you did, you could not shake the essence of who you are, because I'm looking right at it.
Yeah.
You couldn't shake it. You couldn't kill it. You couldn't overdose it. You couldn't leave it behind. You can't.
I did
You
bad
can't. It's
things to get my
impossible. That
job.
part of you is impossible to hurt. It's brilliant. It's true for all of us. That soul self, that essential self that Bobbi is describing, is unmarrable. It cannot be hurt. It cannot be damaged. It cannot be broken. It is pure. It is there no matter what happens. And bad things can happen. We can do bad things. We can regret things. That's the human part of ourselves, right? But the essence of who we are is eternal, is unchangeable, is unmarrable, and that's undamageable, right? And that's what I think Bobbi is speaking to. Bobbi, let me ask you this, because I'm just getting this, that, on some level, especially about the breathing thing, because that really resonates with me. I feel like breath work would be really helpful for her to start opening I know you'll do some things, and the spirit will do some things to open the channels, but to continue to open that, oxygenate, move energy through, release things.
Well, that's what we were talking about a few minutes ago, is that's free. Breathing is free.
Yeah.
But we can't, what is not going to be helpful for you is to do any like Kundalini kind of breathing, or we're talking, I have a breathing the light. I was God taught me breathing the light like 7 years ago, because I asked if I was in the wrong body and all these other things. And then I was taught, breathing, it was called earth, sky, masculine, feminine. So the answer to my question was, I need to balance, as we all do, our masculine, feminine energy. And you are a light being. We are all light beings. And so we need light as much as we need oxygen, if not more, especially right now.
So,
And
Bob, sorry, let me just ask you, Bobbi, because this is, I think, I want to be sensitive to time. A, B, I want to make sure that we get this resource out there, the breathing the light thing. Is that available? Where, because what I want is to give her some action items.
it's on my homepage of my website, which is ethericmedicine.com. We can put that in the chat probably.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Ethericmedicine.com.
Ethericmedicine.com, and there's there, and then on my YouTube I have tons of videos about the breathing and all these other things. So literally all you need this. So we're back to this, and then I guess we'll move on.
Yeah.
Is as we said already, consciously breathe in for 7 and pull, envision, because you have this compartment here and you have this compartment here, and there's so much pressure, right? And here, and so, because like I have a headache and my head is like sweating, my face is like, and so you want to consciously intend to pull. But this means choosing life, to pull the breath through and just keep gently pulling it through, and think only kindness towards yourself, and just breathe. Start there.
Yeah.
Breathing light.
Even if it's just for 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Before you go to bed, and then do your breathing, ask for help. Hey guys, I need help. I need help.
I do all the time. Oh, please, God,
Yeah.
just today.
Yeah.
But you have to be ready to receive it.
You have to receive it. Well, we are cheering you on. Please keep us posted on how it goes.
Thank you.
And
guys.
thank you for staying. Thank you for being
how
here.
you feel.
Yeah. And they keep working. I know this from Bobbi, that they're still working on you, which is really cool. All right, Sam, let's bring our next victim, our next love on the love seat. Tell us your name.
Shannon.
Hi, Shannon.
Shannon. And where are you? Where are you coming in from?
From Indiana.
From Indiana, another Midwesterner. Tell us what's going on.
There's a lot of things, but I'm just going to focus on one. I've been having a lot of, I'm trying to think of the right words to use, but struggles since my father passed.
Mm-hmm.
He passed away at the end of January, and to be blunt, everyone's been saying I'm acting like an asshole since he passed. I'm having a really hard time. I don't know. Yeah.
You're having, so you're feeling, if I'm understanding you, since your father's passing, you've been feeling really angry at that people are, or at least people are saying you're acting angry.
Yeah, I don't personally think I'm acting angry. It's been hard. It's been really hard. Things haven't been easy per se. There's been a lot of moving parts with all of it, and believe me, you don't have the time to hear everything, and I don't want to explain it all because it's a lot. But we found out he was sick, and a week later he was dead. So it was just a lot of stuff. I miss him, obviously, but I already have some issues with depression. I was diagnosed bipolar many years ago. So it's just been extremely hard
Yeah. And
trying
was
to
your
deal with.
relationship with him a little conflicted?
It wasn't, but he was an addict, and so he wasn't really in my life until he was in and out of prison. So once he was done with all of that, I was about 20, 21 before he was back in my life again. And so from then on, we had a really pretty positive relationship.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just, it's been really hard.
Yeah, I'm sorry for your loss. I mean, I have a lot of thoughts coming into my head, but Bobbi, you weigh in here. What do you?
Well, first, okay, lots of things. It's because you opened up. Okay, I have to, first of all, you have health issues going on too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like what's going on?
I'm tired all the time. I There's something wrong somewhere. We just haven't been able to pinpoint it down yet.
Yeah,
So
right.
yeah.
Yeah, there's something going on in your blood. Like you got a lot of like toxin, not to scare you, but like we hear everything you're saying, and maybe, your dad's worried, right? Because I mean, there's so much about him being said, like you missed out on so much time, and it's kind of like you wanted to, it's, there's, we want to talk about your health, but there's something going on where like here you are now at your age, and here he is in prison, and you what you're mad about, which is making you act like an a-hole, as you said, is that you're wanting to take this and go put it back there. It's like you not consciously, but you want to take this chunk and move it to your childhood so you can re-experience him as a little girl.
Oh, you mean she wants to take the experience she had from age 20
and
with him
take it on the timeline? Like they're literally showing her like taking it.
I wish I had him then.
And
yeah.
Well, she's trying energetically it's literally pulling it off the timeline is what they're showing, and trying to put it back here. And you're still trying to figure out, not consciously, obviously, because we know it's not possible, but unconsciously, in that wounded child. Little kids don't know that's not possible, right?
Yes.
A little kid has no idea. Why can't I just like do this? And so you're struggling with that, and that's intensifying your loss, because now you really know it's no longer possible because he's not even here. So he's here, of course he is, but this is what's happening for you. You're not thinking about, the fact that he is with you, and he'd love to talk about all these things, but he's more worried about your health.
So what is he saying? What does he want her to know about her health, or what's the action?
Yeah, you need to have you had blood work done?
Not recently, no.
Right. You need to get blood work done. And what are you taking? What's supplements, or you're just?
I'm taking a lot of different things because I have MS. So yeah.
Okay. So
right.
woo. So more importantly, honoring his crossing, but he's right here. And he's worried about your health. You cannot, maybe you want to leave. You think sometimes you want to leave and join him, or it doesn't matter. I don't matter. Is that sounding familiar?
Yeah.
But knock it off. He said, knock it off, because you need to take care of yourself, and you're not, it's like you're doing a slow suicide. And so that's why he brought you here today, under the guise of talking about being called, what you were called. But you're in a lot of pain. And most importantly, MS, right? I work with MS. I work with all these other things. The most vital thing you can do is to start regulating your nervous system and managing that, whether you do acupuncture. Did we lose her?
I'm still here.
We may have lost her camera, but I'm sure
I'm
she can
still
still
here.
hear. Okay, there she is. You can do acupuncture.
Acupuncture, breathe, like intentionally, because he's like, this, you got to stop this, what you're doing. And it's vital. It doesn't matter who calls you what, because you're lashing out, you're mad.
Yeah.
But that anger also is like, it's what it's doing in here, and your neglect of self is you're internalizing. It's like you're imploding inward. Like there's so much stagnation and toxins. And so you can get regular blood work. It's people, this is important to say, Laura, too. They're saying is people are shunning Western medicine, like because of holistic medicine. We need all the medicine.
All of it.
So
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Okay.
So get the Western medicine blood work, get like a live blood, like naturopaths can probably direct you to live blood where they can literally see your live blood, get all the perspectives, because there's a lot of stuff you don't need to be taking, and they need to like narrow it down for you.
And Bobbi gets this message a lot from the spirit world, that we are we're in the name of health, we are putting too much into our bodies that our bodies can't process. And when you have an inflammatory disease, you feel kind of helpless, and there isn't much, you got to kind of live with it. So then you start piling on more and more supplements or alternative things. And there's a tipping point at which that starts to actually do more harm than good. And so, it's interesting that this is becoming a theme of our shelter show here, Bobbi, choosing life. Are you willing to choose life, even though it's hard? And listen, I know about loss.
Right.
And I know about regret and things that were left unsaid and time that we'll never get back. And I so intimately understand your fury and your disappointment, not only the woman you are, but the child you are, both of their disappointments, right? Because they're both coexisting at the same time. The little girl is mourning the father that she never got to have, and the grown-up woman is mourning the father that she got to have for way too short of a time, right? So we can hold all of that grief with you, but you have to choose, just like I had to choose. I knew a week after Sammy died, because I heard it, you need to decide, are you going to live or are you going to die? Not that I was going to kill myself, but I was going to kill myself slowly, like you're doing. Right? Do you want to live or do you want to die? And I had to make that decision. And that, I feel like, is what you're being called to do, is to choose or not, right? Like, we can choose, but I want you to choose life, because we need you here.
Yeah.
Right?
And
but only you
kids. I have, they're adults, but I have 2 kids, and then I have a grandson who just turned 4 Sunday, and I have another grandbaby on the way. He's 5.
So you
My
have
dad
so
knew.
much to live for.
Right.
What I also want you to do is live for yourself too, because this life that you've been given, these bodies that we've been given, and this is what I got so clearly immediately when I was like, yes, I do want to live. I immediately got so brilliantly bright and clear what a freaking insane miracle of a gift it is that we get to come into these bodies.
Yeah.
Like, that we get to be here in these bodies is such a priceless gift for however long we get to stay here. And to honor that gift and claim that gift and receive that gift, for many of us, ultimately becomes a conscious choice, right? And that's the tipping point that you're at right now. And if you choose life, then it's choosing to go to the doctor. It's claiming your health. It's stepping up, not only for your children and grandchildren, which are a good enough reason to stay alive, but even more importantly, for the gift of life that you've been given, just for the sake of that.
Yeah. As you probably heard, you know, that you are here, just like the Tracy.
Right. Yes.
You
Yes.
know, you are here, and your dad is like, don't let your kids and grandkids have a chunk of timeline with you that they end up wishing they could take and go back here before you got to the place you're at. So
Beautiful.
it's up to you, this lady, this powerful woman here, to decide you're not the little girl, because that you're
Right.
not, like, that's why you're
Oh
not
no.
on the
I'm
power.
34, so I'm definitely not a
No,
little
but
girl
there's a
anymore.
part, she's
Yeah.
saying that there's still a part of you, just like with all of us, our little wounded child parts that are driving the bus. And since your dad died, that little girl has been driving the bus more than the grown-up woman we're looking at.
So
And
you're
that
having,
That
is
makes
true,
sense.
so
right?
you're
So it's
having,
about
That
you
makes
taking
sense.
the wheel again.
so you're having
Yeah.
tantrums like a little kid, and that's understandable, but just be conscious of that. Oh, this is I'm throwing a temper tantrum,
Yeah.
you know, perhaps, and get and then get back on track with, you know, like I'm the powerful woman, not the wounded child. That's one of my mantras when I'm like swirling, right? I'm the powerful woman, not the wounded child, instead of the other way, right? I'm not a wounded child, I'm a powerful woman. I always put the
Right.
power
Right.
on the top, put the power on the top, and use
Yeah.
it as a mantra. When you're having a really hard time, use it as a mantra.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much for
That'll
joining
work.
us. And I think you need
Thank
the
you.
breathing the light meditation.
Everybody
I'm
does.
gonna do
Everybody
that.
needs the breathing the light
I am
meditation.
gonna do, I am gonna do that.
Do it.
Let us know how it goes, okay?
Thank you so
Good
much,
luck.
ladies. Thank
All right, let's bring up, I think Nancy's next. I see that in the chat. Is Nancy next? Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi. Thank you. By the way, it's good to see you in real life. Um, I'm sitting here trying to figure out, I have so many things on my mind, but I came on today because I am that happy person that you mentioned in the beginning that, oh, everything is good and all the work I've done and I'm, had all this loss and all this stuff. And, I'm the one who's going, it's fine. And I'll get a phone call like I recently did. And my best friend in the whole world has cancer now. And I've lost basically most of the core of my family, my husband and one of my best friends in the past 10 years. And I'm going like, universe, what? What is happening? Am I supposed to just be doing this? And I'm at the place where I'm like, okay, I'm going to live my highest in my highest vibration, which I've learned so much from you. And I'm almost like I say to people, I don't know if I'm hardened or I'm just realistic because I'm just so I guess spirit called me here because I don't know, and I'm trying to figure out, am I stuffing my feelings down or am I realistic? Because as you
Right.
know, anything can happen. The worst possible scenario can happen, and many worst possible scenarios have happened to me. And I am genuinely happy all the time. Like, unless I get a phone call and my heart stops because my friend tells me, I got to tell you something. And I knew because I didn't hear from her for a couple of weeks. And I go, okay. I'm like, all right. So now my other best friend now has breast cancer. And I know that I go straight to, like, they used to call it Pollyanna. I don't think you're old enough,
No,
but
I know about
Pollyanna was that
Pollyanna.
girl.
But that's like a
Uh,
spiritual bypass. You go right to lightness and optimism, and
and I'm like,
and
all
there
right.
is an art to that. But what can happen, and what I think you're asking about, if I understand you correctly, what you're trying to check in with us about is, okay, I'm doing okay through all this, even with all this upheaval and these potential losses and a lot of fear for the health and the wellness of these people that I care about. Am I doing what's called a spiritual bypass, where I'm like, no, everything's great, but I'm denying my true feelings? Or am I really seasoned enough now with moving with the flow of life that this is authentic? right? And not bypassing what's really going on, or as you would say, stuffing what's really going on. Would you say that that's a good articulation of your question? Feel free to correct me.
Yes, and I do feel that I am aware and enlightened enough because I've done so much work and I am authentic. You know, when I walk out the door, I'm happy. When I go places, people are like, but you have a daughter with Down syndrome and your husband died and your sister died and your other best friend died. And I'm like, I know, but we went through it gracefully and it was hard and it's and life happens, but that's real for me. But
Yeah.
now that we're talking, I was really angry when I got the phone call after I hung up about my best friend. I'm like, okay, it can't be my neighbor. It can't be somebody else a little bit removed, the lady at the Ross that I see every week. It's my now it's my next best friend. So
Yeah.
what am I supposed to be learning here? What,
So
like
you're
I'm getting a little
angry.
I'm getting paranoid. Like, and so I'm like, okay, I get a phone call that someone really close or anybody, I've said it, like anything could happen. And I'm
Yeah.
gonna be like, oh, okay, all right, okay, well, I'm just gonna go process this, take a nap. So that's
Is that how
what
you
I think.
process it? Taking a nap? Do you move the energy of the fear, or the sadness, or the
I
grief, or
have
you like,
to yeah, I need to sleep. I need to go to sleep. And then I dance, as you know, and I do different things. That's what I started to do after my husband died. And but I definitely make sure I pace myself with my energy and I get enough sleep. And like I'll be taking a nap after this already, and then I'll reboot for the nighttime. And
yeah.
whatever comes in, I'm ready. I did cry, of course, when my friend called.
Yeah, that's what I want to know,
I didn't
because we
cry.
can easily use sleep as an escape. So I wanted to know if you are allowing yourself, in addition to all the self-care you're practicing, which is really important, if you're allowing yourself to feel the actual sadness or loss or fear.
I am, but it doesn't hurt like really bad. It's just like I just feel like it's life, and I just go, okay, these things
Yeah.
happen, and it
Yeah.
hurts and it's scary. But then I'm like pissed off. I'm like, seriously,
Yeah.
my best friend, like from birth, our
Yeah. I'm
parents were best
sorry.
friends, and my husband, and you know, my
You've had a
sister,
lot of loss. So
yeah.
Bobbi, weigh in here.
Yeah. So I keep asking spirit, like, okay, give me the words, right? But basically, like, here's your heart, and you're completely like like you literally are, even though you're saying I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, you've been able to manage all of this pain by literally avoiding it.
Yeah.
And so whatever you're calling that, Laura, but like it's like it's like you're like you still haven't really touched the pain. And I think if you were on in the beginning, it, it's like it's not allowing, speaking about being, because you've done a lot of work and all these things, but it's like you've done a lot of work, but this stuff, the pain of all the loss, is like you're eating around it, like doing work sort of around it. And they don't mean that in a bad way or anything. It's just giving you a kind of a heads up that you have so much unacknowledged pain in your heart, and like weighing it, that it's almost like, if you might even think unconsciously, is like if you turn towards it, you'll go into, what, Laura's experienced, I've experienced the loss of parents and things, but like really have to submerge into that wound of loss,
To go all the way into the
go
pain.
all the way into the pain and fall apart in your humanity. You don't have to understand it spiritually yet. Because they want you to understand, you get to feel the pain in your humanity. And this is how it happens for all of us. it's not to hurt us, but spirit, our guides, they turn up the dial on things until we finally say, okay, I'm going to walk straight. I'm going straight through it. And that's what's happening for you right now, right? So you can, yes, you're happy, but also you're in a ton of pain that you haven't acknowledged.
And both can be true, right?
Yeah.
So you can be really, I mean, I consider myself really happy for the most part, even though I've had horrific loss. And Bobbi will tell you that just a few days ago, last weekend, whatever it was, I was on the floor in a ball, weeping more intensely and hard and in more pain than probably maybe as much pain as right after Sammy died, because something, a new loss came up, and it just like, and so what we think is that if I allow myself, and you've kind of conditioned yourself, and it makes you really high functioning, and it makes you really easy to be around, but you've conditioned yourself to feel just enough of it that you can acknowledge it, but then to move to those higher frequency places, which is really helpful, right? Like, I'm all for raising your frequency, but what we don't want to do is bypass the real feelings. So my guess is, and you can correct us if we're wrong, but I feel like this is what that Bobbi is saying too. The fear is that if I touch that nerve, if I open up and really let myself fully feel the sadness I feel in this moment, that all the sadness of all the losses and just the depth of the sadness of this one friend's potential loss will carry me away, and I will no longer be happy. And the opposite is true. Because the reason I think you have to take so many naps is because it takes a tremendous amount of energy to keep happy when you aren't really feeling your pain. It is so much easier to stay happy. First of all, none of us are happy 24/7, but overall, the majority of the time we are happy, content, optimistic, authentically, when we can fully also feel the pain, the agony, the anger, the frustration, the loss. And so I almost want you to do, and I know you follow me, you're a wonderful friend online. You're always weighing in. So I know you see my posts where I'm beating the shit out of pillows, or I'm crying hysterically, because I try to model that for people. Like, I want you to start doing that before you go to sleep, right? Because chances are you're going to need a lot less naps after that. And then the pressure valve releases, and you feel lighter and clearer and more in flow.
But this is what's coming through is, these are questions, right? It's like because you mentioned, as this comes in a picture, you mentioned like, oh, when I go out to eat or whatever you said, everyone's saying, how do you do this? And how do you, there's all this, what showed up as like fanfare around you. So if you were able to just let people see you be in pain, what would that mean for you?
That's a good question.
There's something going on for you around, like, you're holding up.
Yeah, the persona of she who is happy despite it all.
Yeah, you're holding up this persona, and ultimately, unconsciously, that is a diversion from authenticity, because the first responsibility we have is to ourselves. Nobody else out here matters what they think of you or whatever, because what's happening is you're turning away from your pain. You're turning away from your own need to feel and acknowledge the level of pain that you are in. And you're worried about what is that going to look like to other people. And so you're privately, like, letting off a little bit of the pain steam, like a little bit, and it's exhausting. So there's a lot. So take a look at that, because you're gonna, since you're wanting to uphold other people and everything, right now is about you, but like, you'll be, as Laura was saying, like, more of a model of truth, because we are human. We chose to come be in these bodies to be human and to experience ourselves in our humanity. Right now, they want me to say is something that we talk about, which is like everyone's clamoring to be in these higher realms and in our higher selves and all these other things. And it's like this diversion from like just from wanting to be also in our humanity. But the whole point of being here is being human.
Yeah.
So, but we're trying to get out of feeling the pain of our humanity by scratching out of it or putting on facades or faking it or whatever.
Or distracting ourselves from it or bypassing. Yeah. And it's a natural reaction. I mean, who the hell wants to feel pain, for God's sake? And I avoided it my entire life until, I mean, I was the same way until I had no choice.
We'll be brought.
I'll feel pain. I'll feel the pain if I see like a favorite food in the grocery store of my husband's, and I'll go, "Oh my God, red rooster hot sauce," and I'll be like, "Ugh." Or I'll be in Trader Joe's and hear a song that I love. My sister and I used to sing together, and I'll. Ugh. So I feel it at those times.
But just for a moment and just that little bit.
Yeah.
So do you do any kind of somatic experiencing? Do you do any kind of practice where you go into your system and you just are with the sensations and you because you have like all you would need to do is like open the door a crack on. So one of the things that I did for a year, and I still do it, not as regularly, but every single day for a year after Sammy died, even on those days, and there were many of them after the first 6 months, where I was feeling fine. And the last thing I freaking wanted to do was to go into the belly of the beast. But I knew mostly that my body needed it, like that my health needed it. And because I'd made a choice to live, I had also, and was given that choice, as I was saying earlier, I was also instructed that this was required if I was going to live and not get cancer or some
sink
other
or swim. Yeah, like I did. You do. You got a choice. You sink or you swim.
Right.
Okay.
But in order to swim, you have to be willing to go underwater and let it out.
Trust that you're going to come back up.
So you can come back up. And so every single day, and it would take maybe 15 to 20 minutes, I would go into my special place in the back of the house where the least people could hear me. I would have my pillows there in case I needed to scream or cry. And I would just, almost like a Xerox machine, I would just gently scan my body with my awareness. Just breathe and scan my body. And then wherever I felt, I feel some density in my chest. I feel some heaviness in my belly. I feel some pain in my back. And I would just stay with that for a minute. And then my body would start, it's like, you're paying attention to me. Wait a second. And then it would start showing me like, this is the biggest sensation. I would just make a choice on what the strongest sensation was. And then you just put all of without thinking about your loved ones, or in my case, thinking about Sammy or how I would just put full presence and conscious awareness with that intense density in my chest, and just like give it all of my awareness and attention and soften my body. And it's almost like release my thinking brain for the moment and just only think about and focus on the sensations, and then let my body do whatever the hell it wanted to do. And sometimes I would just cry and wail into a pillow. Sometimes I would scream and rage and beat the shit out of those pillows. Sometimes I would roll back and forth on the floor and wail and cry. And it lasts, if you really let yourself fully feel it, and this is what people don't understand because they think if I really feel it, I'll never come back. The opposite is true. If you really let yourself feel it, it takes 10 to 15 minutes of not like, I'm sad, I heard a song that reminds me of you. My heart hurts, my stomach hurts. I mean like snot, grief, pain. 10 minutes tops and you're done. But I feel like that needs to be a regular practice for you. And your tendency, I almost want you to work with someone who's a somatic experiencing person, because your tendency is always going to be to pull yourself out of it. That's just like and it's so brilliant. Like it's one of your geniuses, but I don't want you to be able to. Sorry, Bobbi, go ahead.
No, I have to, I'm talking, but
as I'm talking, they're talking to her.
Yeah, try to. So I know it's interesting. So, but with that said, for you, because we're all uniquely us, right? Laura is a little bit further along.
Yeah.
With her, I have to get this out. She's further along with her pain process and and she's, and her body is helping with that. You, is not a bad thing, but you have not yet turned towards it in a real way. So you are not united with your body. And to do that exercise that Laura just described is a little bit down the road, because what they're saying, your guides who know you so well, right? they just, it may turn into a little bit of a different exercise. It's like you have so much pain and rage almost trapped in there that you just like starting, like I have a kick bag in my garage that I've thought to sell many, many times, but it's so good to go out there. And sometimes I'll just like kick, or punch, put big silly gloves on and just like punch until I literally can't breathe anymore. Or if I'm crying or if I'm mad, or whatever. And because you have like a plug.
Yeah.
So we need to get you to blow that plug out to where you literally drop and sob and let it until you fall asleep perhaps, or until then you're like, okay, is that it? Is that for now? Right. But you're plugged.
Yeah. And look for resources. Look, if you go to traumahealing.org, that is the organization that trains, and I've checked them out. They train somatic experiencing therapists and people, like training them, because I feel like you need some.
I do have a friend like that I met about a year ago, and she does work,
Good,
like energy
perfect.
work. I
But
feel
not
like
energy work. This has to be
came in-
someone who is literally going to guide you through the process of
going
into your body and tuning into it and experiencing whatever emotion, like that trains you in the technology of doing this, because your system is so used to something else. I think that's what Bobbi's saying, is that it's not going to come supernaturally to you. So to have someone guide you, at least at first.
Yeah, I can't even imagine like being that angry or rage.
You are
though.
The only time I ever like wailed was when my first death was when my dad died.
Yeah.
And that was 25 years
there's
ago.
no way in
and
hell
then
that
like,
shit isn't in there.
And in you went. Yeah. And there's
no way. That's why I'm asking you, because I'm like, I'm just okay with it.
Right.
Like,
Well, so the answer is we're very appreciative that you're a force for optimism in the world, but it isn't serving you. And you're going to be even higher frequency, more impactful on the world when you can fully feel the range of feelings, and bypassing and putting some, and which is what we all do. Our society teaches us to do: anger, sadness, fear. No, feel those as little as possible. When the opposite is true. The more it all comes out the same channel. That was one of the most amazing things to me that I learned, that the more I allowed myself to feel the pain, the anger, the rage, the sadness, the more fully I could feel joy. I didn't know I could feel joy to the extent that I could until I opened the sadness and fear channels. Authentic joy, right? The more you're fully expressing it and letting that shit out of you, the healthier you are physically, but also the more capable you are of the full range of optimism that you're really here to express. So,
and not spiritualizing it. Don't spiritualize your pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That would be me.
Such a good one.
Yeah.
Thank you. I will do that. I'm going to go beat up my pillow before I take a nice
All right. Good. Go beat the shit out of something.
Yeah.
Thank you. I love you in sign language.
Love you. We have Avery next. Hi, Avery.
Hello.
Hi, Avery.
How
Where
are
you
you guys?
calling from?
I am in Indiana. Lots of Midwest today.
Oh, we got lots of, what is it with the Midwest? All right. So tell us what's going on.
So I am looking for guidance through best friend breakup. So that's hard. I know our former caller talked about like best friend loss, which is really similar. But I am a senior in high school. I'm about to graduate, and I'm super excited about it. And off to get my degree, which is also exciting. But my best friend and I have like 13 years, quit talking to each other in October. And it really came down to me just not being willing to be treated disrespectfully anymore. Stating a boundary, and she was like, yeah,
Not respecting that.
Yeah, she was like, I was like, hey, I'm not willing to continue the relationship if you're going to repeatedly hurt me like this. Like, this is where I draw the line. And she was like, peace. So I was like, okay. But it's definitely brought up feelings of loneliness. Connected with other friends, but I've also been through a lot during that time period, I guess 6-8 months now out with grief and surgery and loss, and it's been hard. So as I go on to college and get my bachelor's degree, I'm looking for guidance on how to make those like good soul friends like that I felt that I had.
I love that question. And congratulations on this huge milestone. You know, and I feel you, you know, Bobbi and I have talked about this. This is really, really common, right? As we start to awaken and claim our power and claim our boundaries and claim how we want to be treated. Often people who have really been in you know, key in our lives and central to our lives are not willing or able to rise with us or to rise to the occasion. And then they just either make us wrong, disappear, or say peace out, right? And what I'm feeling and hearing, and even that story, is in some ways the peace out was more painful than setting the boundary, because what she was saying to you with that peace out and what your system heard, which is not true, is that you aren't worthy enough of me making an effort to treat you the way you're not worthy of being treated the way you deserve or desire. And you are discardable, right? Like that's the trauma there, that I'm discardable. So I just want to put a pin in that. Maybe Bobbi has more to say on that too. I'm going to get out of the way in a second, but there are lots of thoughts that I have about. Is it hard for you to listen to me and them at the same time?
It's hard because I can't jump in and
just get out of the
whatever
way.
You say is whatever you
no,
say.
Just talk through me.
I'm trying to hold it all while you're talking.
Okay, well, so let me weigh in afterwards, and you, because they're talking to you, so you say what you want to say, and then I'll fill in with anything you haven't said that's on my mind.
Well, so first of all, just so maybe you can move into some compassion for your friend. That's her family's model for how they treat each other. Yeah. And so you're family to her. That's the good news, right? Kind of. But to help you with your pain a little bit, because she has unacknowledged pain as well. And she's in pain because you guys are beautiful mirrors for each other, right? You set a boundary. She felt like she was bad or wrong, or she went into her stuff. And then she was able to do that because that's her avoidance.
Right.
Right. We just saw the other person on here a minute ago. It's like she does her avoidance her way. We all do it in our way. But she was just doing her. So she's in as much pain as you are around this. And she really doesn't. You guys are very young. No one's modeled anything else for her other than that. And again, so we call in the compassion. And you guys still have your beautiful connection. You're both kind of just, you know, she doesn't know how to fix this.
Yeah.
That's all. She wants to, she misses you, she loves you. You know, this is a learning. This is what happens. You know, we learn, but we have to communicate, right? And you have the strength in you to take the risk. It's not a risk, but to be vulnerable. And to say that really hurt, because it's really gotten to be such a big deal, and it's really not that. It's not. It's just that she did this and you did that.
Yeah, but also she may not be, I mean, this sometimes happens, that she may not, even though she's not a bad person, and this, which I agree with, and that this is really just an emotional shortcoming because of her own family issues and her inability, her defensiveness, so to speak. But, you know, it is also true that you deserve to have your boundaries respected. And if she's incapable of honoring your boundaries, that doesn't make her bad or wrong, but that does make her someone that's going to not be someone you want to be close to.
But
yeah, I feel like it just doesn't work then. Yeah.
Well,
okay.
So what's coming in is that she just doesn't understand. She doesn't know she doesn't understand what that even means, boundaries, right? Mm-hmm. She doesn't, it's not good, bad, it's just the truth. Yeah. So as they start to say, this is a teaching and a learning for you both moving forward. Like, oh, that for me, that's a boundary, and because that made me feel this way, or this is for me, I don't enjoy this, or, you know, to express why was that boundary put up and own it. That you just say, this was about me and that this was my comfort zone or not, or whatever took place, so that you can just let her know this wasn't about, I was just saying, taking care of myself. This is what it looks like, because then she gets to also learn that she gets to have boundaries.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have to let people treat her the way she's treated either. Because she's neutralizing out of survival. She's neutralizing the way she is treated as normal.
She doesn't have anyone respecting her boundaries, because she doesn't know how to respect them.
Definitely not in her house either.
Yeah. So she has no idea. I mean, I had a breakup with one of my nearest and dearest childhood friends not long ago, which was unbelievably painful after you've been friends for that long. And it was over something similar that she just could not, just made me wrong and bad for holding the boundary that was very reasonable that she couldn't match. And it's extremely painful to let someone who feels like such a soul friend go. But it is also, you know, I also hold, and I want you to hold the possibility. This doesn't mean that you have to go back and lower your boundaries or change your boundaries or even over explain yourself or try to get her to understand, because at this point she may not be able to, but hold the possibility that someday she might, right? And I want to get into your question about now moving forward, because you're about to create a really new beginning, right? A new beginning. And so stepping into that on the new college campus with the new potential friends, you know, really getting clear. It's almost like what I say to people when they're wanting to call in love. It's a similar strategy with calling in friendships, right? Really getting clear on what's important to you, not just in the qualities that a friend has, but in how you want to feel in your friendships, right? Because like for one person, you know, being playful is really, really important to them. For another person, feeling safe is really, really important to them, or feeling respected or cherished or understood, right? So get really, really clear inside yourself, because then that becomes the North Star or the litmus as you're going to start showing up as she who emanates this, holds that frequency, deserves that. But also then you are a match and calling in energetically people that are going to show up for you that way. Did you freeze, or are you listening? I think she might have froze. She looks, but we lost it, but she's still probably listening. So you go ahead, Bobbi. Is there anything else you want to say about that? I'm like, did you freeze?
Well, I do want to say, I mean, you're speaking from that stuff, but I'm tapping into the friend, and to this unique situation, and I want her to know that the friend misses her, and I know that she is her heart really hurts because she's going into this new chapter in school, and that it's that, you know, not to stuff that down, and that it is really important even for future relationships, even when you get to be, you know, our age. We're going through this at our age, like
Yeah.
managing heartbreak and friendships, and as you just said, and like navigating like taking up space, right? So for her it's also, you know, a learning, Avery, is a learning that everything Laura said, but also like you get to take up space and have a,
Yes.
have a conversation with your friend that said, hey, I just wanted to let you know, whether you ever talk to me again or not, like this is why this was my perspective and why. And like I think, you know, it's a great thing for both of us to learn. I really miss you.
Yeah, and see what happens, right? Without holding any expectation.
Right.
All right, we have. I'm tempted to take one more. Avery is saying that the phone overheated, but hopefully she's hearing us. It's because we're so hot.
Yeah.
But let's take one last call, or visitor or couch sitter or whatever this is that we're on.
You're welcome.
Who do we have? Tell us your name and where you're calling in from.
My name's Catherine. I'm from Kentucky.
All right. Welcome, Catherine. What's going on? How can we help? Are there babies in the car with you that I see, or just car seats?
It's kind of hard to hear you. Can you repeat that?
I was asking, I see a little boo-boo baby in the background.
Oh, yeah, that's my daughter, Amelia.
Aw, hi.
What's going on with me? Let's see. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm not really doing great at that. Like, I'm used to working. I love it, and I know that I'll be grateful for it one day. But I'm just really bored, and my husband is really controlling and judgmental about how I do my job, and he doesn't really want me to have even Facebook, but that's where I find most of my support, and like my friends, and like communicating with people.
Do you have a community of people, not digitally, but does he kind of hold you back from having friendships or play dates with other moms or connections with other people?
He really just wants me to hang out with his friends.
Okay. So even when he's at work and you're home with the kids, if you were to go out on a, you know, with a girlfriend and bring your kids and everybody hang out together, he wouldn't be supportive of that?
I think he would. I think he would be.
Okay. Okay. What are you getting? I mean, I'm getting a lot, but what are you getting, Bobbi?
I mean, I don't know how much you want to say in public, but yeah. So there's just, I mean, the misery, right, is felt, and like in the depths, right? And the trapped and all of those things. And it's like you're kind of not even there. You're not even in your life. You're off somewhere else. And so it's like you're just going through the motions of, right? Like almost like, okay, now I need to do this and now I need to do that. And sort of like, I mean, just try to find words that are not so, but like,
disassociated too. Like
well,
just
completely disassociated. Yeah, but like exit plan kind of stuff, you know? So I'm hearing a lot of things, and it's like, so I try to find the words without saying it, because there's a lot, they're saying like not to say things
publicly.
Yeah. Directly. I lose words sometimes, but
it's okay.
Yeah, just, you know,
I can say it, even though they're telling you not to, that
okay.
that there's, which you already know, there are degrees of abuse.
Yes.
And it starts with critical and controlling.
Yeah.
Okay. And it goes to other forms of emotional, and I don't even want to put it on continuum because they're all equally painful, and then it goes also to physical, right? So we're in the critical controlling phase. You are in that critical controlling situation that,
And a little bit
that
out of
is, go ahead, Bobby. That is
a little above it.
Yeah, a little above the critical and controlling. Yeah. So there's fear there, there's lack of voice there, there's inability to be your authentic self as a woman and as a mother, and there isn't the room to even explore what it means to be a stay-at-home mom for you, right?
Right.
Because there isn't a permission. You're kind of being criticized and controlled into a very small box, which then makes you want to check out emotionally and intellectually, which is understandable.
Yeah, she was born very traumatically. She was essentially, like, she had to be resuscitated. We had a shoulder dystocia, and so she basically got stuck and lost a lot of oxygen. So we've had a rough get-go. She's got lots of therapy appointments, and so it's not your traditional, like, it's not a traditional parenting experience. Although I wouldn't change anything for the world.
But it also makes you more dependent on him.
Yeah.
Which, it's amazing how people keep getting cut off. There you are. So yeah. So what is it that would be most supportive, Bobbi? Do you think that would be most? I mean, I definitely think one thing I will say is that I feel like you need a person and a place. If you're not already in individual therapy, I really want you to get into individual therapy of some sort, because relationship aside, just being the caretaker of a beautiful thing, a beautiful being with special needs, is a lot to navigate. And you're also kind of socially and emotionally isolated right now. So, and in terms of the relationship issues going on. So I feel like one action item that would be really just practically helpful for you, and then I'll let Bobbi weigh in on the spirit, suggestions, is that you get into some individual therapy for you specifically, to support you in your parenting and your relationship and in everything else. I think you need an advocate and an advisor and a sounding board that is not biased.
Right
now.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think that's something that you could do?
Yeah, I have an appointment scheduled. I've seen multiple therapists. They've all told me to leave him.
Yeah.
But I have my own problems too, and I don't know if it's from the PTSD from the birth or what. Like, I have a really hard time being on time. I forget things constantly. Just all
that's dissociation.
Yeah,
that's because you're having to leave your body in order to stay where you are.
Like, he's calling me repeatedly right now if he's wondering what I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah, because he's energetically feeling us.
That's why I'm not saying a lot. Happy maybe off here, but like, it's not, there's so much interference in that energy of control, and that it's so intense in this space. I can only imagine, like, and you're scared, you're nothing wrong with saying you're scared, because you're scared.
Right.
And maybe one thing you can tell yourself, maybe to try to calm yourself, is that this is my choice. To be a mother is my choice. To be it's little tiny thing, but try to flip that switch and say, no, I'm choosing this. Regardless, I'm choosing this. I want to be a mother. I want to stay at home. I'm choosing this. It's a little kind of a mind thing, but like, try to give yourself, because it's closing in on you.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like a straw, putting the straw to the surface when you can't,
like you're claiming some power, right?
something,
A little bit of power
it's a little
that
bit.
I am choosing this, right? Because you are. And you also are choosing to stay, right? You may not stay forever, but right now you feel so discombobulated and so disassociated and so overwhelmed that you can't imagine pushing through the hell that you imagine will be required to extricate yourself from the current situation. That will change in one way or another if you continue to get the support you need, right? Um and yes, any therapist will tell you, I mean, to leave, right? But that isn't necessarily
You should
easy.
probably, you're probably,
Are you feeling scared right now? Do you feel like you need to get this call?
No. He's
Okay.
just annoying me.
Okay.
yeah, it's
All right.
intense. And yeah, and of course she feels it as well, right?
Yeah, the little one feels
And
it as well.
yeah, he just pulled up. He just pulled
Yeah,
up right next to me.
yeah, I told you he knows.
He
That's
knows this is happening. So
So-
Bobbi, is there a way that she can, I mean, because I feel like you can help and you're not able to help because he's blocking it right now.
right. No,
So
he's
is there a way that she can connect with you separately or?
her, but let her go.
Yeah, no, I'm going to let you go, but we're going to put your email address in the chat right now if you can,
Okay.
and then get off and go deal with him. And we're going to email you, okay? Because I'm worried about you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay, there you go.
There it is. Okay, so we're gonna, Sam, will you do me a favor? I'm speaking to our producer. Just copy Catherine's email for me so we don't lose it as we finish. And Catherine, we are with you. We're holding so much love for you, so much support. But I just don't. He's
Yeah.
You got to go. Does that
We're
make sense?
sending you light.
Yep, thank you.
But to be continued.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Whew. Okay.
We literally need to clear that because
Okay,
it was
go ahead, clear it. Yeah, that was intense. I mean, I don't feel what you feel, but I was.
No, I knew I couldn't. That's why I kept trying to say
I
it.
know that I was like, I'll just fucking say it.
No, he was listening, so there was no point. He was watching.
Oh, he was watching the thing?
Yes.
Okay.
So maybe we clip the end of this. So maybe whatever. That was intense. So.
And whatever's going on with him is also, he is love also, even if he's not acting like it, right? Like he's acting from his own wounds and his own fears.
Yeah.
And
well, he doesn't want her to leave.
Yeah.
And he knows and he knows that she wants to.
Yeah.
Because so I'll say this, out of love and compassion, is that this is not a way to be in a relationship, and her husband wants to feel love from her, and he doesn't know how to get it. Like he doesn't know how to elicit it. So he's terrified that she will leave, and he feels like, at some point he felt like she was better than him. And then, this started. And so now like she's been pulled out of her power.
Yeah.
And so now there's more, this is what's coming through, is like there's more, he thinks more equality, but this isn't. Because she does love him, but this is not bearable.
This isn't love. I mean, this is possession, right? Like, and we confuse the two, especially when we haven't learned how to love or how to hold love. We try to hold it with control, which we can understand and send love to them. Whew, Bobbi, this has been so much fun. I hope you guys, we got to as many of you as we could. I'm so glad that as many of you that came through as you did. And we will do this again. Right, Bobbi? We'll do it
Yes,
again.
yeah.
And if you have, definitely, check out Bobbi at ethericmedicine.com. You can see, on the little banner there on the screen, ethericmedicine.bobbi, to follow her on Instagram, or you can find her on other social media platforms that way. And, and if other questions occur to you guys, you can DM us, you can put it in the comments. I'm going to repost this on the social media channels, this whole 2-hour extravaganza. But in the comments,
I'm sure does fine, don't it?
You didn't realize it was 2 hours, did you, Bobbi?
I've just been like,
yeah, she's in the zone, trying to hear them while I'm yammering
yeah.
on. But make sure to put the questions in the comments or DM us questions, because I'm going to keep collecting them, and we'll use that as a jumping off point for next time. We'll let you know when our next little show is. But in the meantime, speaking for myself, I just wish you so much love and so much peace, and know that you are held, and know that you deserve to be here, and you deserve to feel all the feelings, and open those channels to receive. That's what we're really being called on, is to receive, and also to lean more deeply into faith, which I'm with you. I'm struggling with too, but as Bobbi says, we got to break that faith seal, and then it's so much easier.
Right. Ask and receive. And so that's to leave people with, number one, thank you so much for being here and allowing us to be in service. But one of the simplest things that is so powerful is to do the breathing, the light, for everybody, every single one of us. You get up, you put your feet on the ground. Try that, and then let us know how it goes next time we're on here. And know that you are divinely guided. You are always divinely guided 100% of the time, even if you don't believe it, even if you have zero faith, even if it has nothing to do with religion.
Yeah.
It's
whether you know it or not, you're being guided.
So make use of it.
And you are loved, and we love you.
Yes.
Over and out.
Over and out.